What if psychic powers were real and already activated? Abilities like telekinesis and psychokinesis have long been dismissed as fantasy, but what if that's exactly what we were meant to believe? Inspired by Stranger Things and the mysterious reach of the human mind, we ask, has something already awakened within us or been unlocked by others? Today's questions aren't about personal potential. They're about what's happening collectively, behind the scenes, and what we're not being told. Let's open the deck and see if we've already crossed the line between fiction and fact. Hello everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you're new to my channel. We are going to hop right in to question 1 using the Oracle first, since they don't care what I think, and then we'll move into tarot for extra detail. So question 1. What force, seen or unseen, has already tapped into the human mind? So what's already influencing us or awakening dormant potential within us? So let's see. Boy, cards just aren't wanting to be shuffled. Kind of going all over creation and feeling very choppy. So we have war. And before I say anything on that one, I'm going to pull another here from the next pile. That could go a lot of different ways, couldn't it? Stay. Slip and slide. Okay. Then we have magic. So again, the question is, what force, seen or unseen, has already tapped into the human mind? So what is it that's influencing us or awakening dormant potential that we might actually have for some of these abilities like telekinesis and psychokinesis and telepathy and so on and so forth? So I think with the War card, this is probably something that we've been able to do for a long time. A lot of the different things, special powers, unique powers that you see on shows like Heroes or like Eleven's powers in Stranger Things. I think there was probably a little too much distraction, or has been a little too much distraction. Kind of a war in our brains. We're looking over here, but our mind is going, no, wait, you need to do this, because I think there's a divine plan, a divine process, but we're kind of missing it. Or at least we're at war against divine timing, our own higher selves, the distractions of the world. So that's what we're going to look at for the War card. Magic, this is about our spirit guides and paying attention to signs that we get. And I think there's probably been a lot of signs thrown our way. But again, we're missing a lot of them because there's so much for distraction in the world right now. So much for the distraction in the world around us for quite some time. So let's see where this goes further. And we have radio. So the question, the unseen force that has already tapped into the human mind. This is our guides, okay, trying to use a specific frequency to get us to be able to get past this distraction. Not an easy task. They send us signs. And again, using even the radio, okay, that may be their secret weapon. If you think about it, if you drive, how many people drive with the radio not on? Most people have the radio on, at least I believe so. If you don't, put it in the comment box below. Let me know. Do you or don't you have your radio on when you're driving? Anyway, so I think that's kind of like their secret weapon, because when we're driving, we're only doing one task. We're driving. At least that's the way it's supposed to be. And so that is a time that they can use the music to give us specific messages or signs in the music. So let's see where else this is going. Okay, so we have Field of Dreams. I think they are also using our past loved ones, things about them that we know, to catch our attention also, so that they are giving us a heads up that there's something coming, something we're meant to be doing, something we're meant to be building within ourselves. And that's, again, these dormant potential talents that we are supposed to have, like telepathy, like telekinesis. Then we have Airport, Mr. Roboto, and A Streetcar Named Desire. I think with Airport, literally, this is something that our spirit guides, they do have a sense of humor. And I think with Airport, they're saying that we dang near need to be zapped with lightning to pay attention to what they're trying to share with us. And they might not be wrong, for sure. They have a lot of competition with, and Mr. Roboto, we're going to say with AI. We have a lot of competition with AI. Always doing something with the phones, always watching a show, always. It's hard for them to get through, which again is why the radio is perfect. If they can pick a time that you're in the car where there's actually music playing and not ads. So at any rate, it is our spirit guides, it's their desire to help us reach that frequency that we need to reach to build this part of ourselves out, to be able to find the magical parts of ourself, what everybody thinks is magic. It's kind of like when you look at 11, it's like, oh my gosh, look what she can do. When in fact, it's a natural capability for all of us. It just needs to be practiced. So let's see what we have for the tarot to kind of fill this out a little bit. So again, we are very distracted. This is what our, it's almost like our spirit guides have a war with the world and getting our attention. It's very difficult for them. And sometimes it does take, and I'm not going to say they're going to strike with lightning, but it does take something big sometimes to really zap us out of the world long enough for our past loved ones or our guides to give us a specific sign. And that's not everybody. Some people are really tuned in. So the first card here with War is, the Magician. And the Magician tends to keep our attention, right? By doing magic. Again, this is distractions, all distractions. And then we have the Hermit. They need to get us into a location, the spirit guides. They need to get us into a location where we have sensory sensory deprivation. away from all of this. And again, the only place that perhaps they can get that is in the car. But there are times perhaps that, taking a bath maybe, or even in the shower, things like that, that we're kind of more relaxed, that they can possibly get through. And sorry for the way that I have to pull these cards apart. They're very thick. And with the Wheel of Fortune on radio, yeah, it's kind of the roulette wheel for our guides, because it's very difficult to reach us when there's so many distractions. A certain time that they can actually do that. And with the Wheel of Fortune, this could also be changing the stations, changing the radio stations, changing the television stations. Sometimes that will be sufficient enough to get a certain message out there to us, if we catch it. The Four of Spokes, which is the Four of Cups. A lot of times we miss it. We miss that message. We miss whatever message is coming on the radio or in the show, because we're too distracted on our phone as we're watching a show, or busy talking with a friend with our phone sitting next to the radio, so the radio isn't on. So we're not, when we have our backs to the possibility of getting messages, we miss what we're supposed to be building in ourselves. So then we have the Five of Strands, or Five of Wands. Yeah, they need a zapping energy to get our attention. Something powerful, something that will create a chaotic energy for us to be able to, whoa, okay, I'm supposed to pay attention to that. So our guides have to try and think of something so extreme. A lot of extra work for them, for sure. And then we have the Six of Wands, which is us recognizing the fact that we're constantly paying attention to the distractions, the illusions, and AI, and really nothing else. There is no necessarily any harmony within our lives, any relaxation per se. They want us to be aware. And with the Five of Pentacles, which is Five of Scoops here, we've got a streetcar named Desire. Yeah, that is just life chaos. This is what they would like to turn down, is life chaos, so that they can actually get us in that sensory deprivation mode. And that's their desire, because we are supposed to be building this part of ourselves. And so far, they're having a really hard time. All right, getting through to many of us, not all of us. All right, so we're going to clean this up. And I do this rather slowly, but it is for the purposes of making sure everything is mixed well, especially with these Stranger Things cards. They have very strange card stock. They're hard to shuffle, so I need to go the extra mile. I do this with every video anyway, but also, if you are hearing strange noises in the background, I have a Chihuahua, and that Chihuahua tends to love to snore during my videos. So you'll be hearing his snoring pretty much in every video I do. It's his contribution. So, all right. Also means he's sleeping really hard. So now we move on to question 2. Has humanity ever truly wielded psychic force? And if so, who knew? So is this something that we've forgotten we were able to do? Or was it a hidden program that was tried out that they buried in history just to see what would happen? So have we ever had psychic powers? And if so, who knew that? All right. We have pushing tin. And again, I'm going to grab another one. That's one of my favorite movies. All right. Material world. Okay, so with pushing 10, I'm going to say yes. We have at one point in time had powers of some sort. In fact, I think there were probably two groups of people that were testing things out or using humans, which isn't uncommon, using humans to see if they could pit against one another. In the movie Pushing 10, this guy is very adventurous and just seems like to be a man of the world. And this guy they do the same job. They're air traffic controllers, and this guy is quite jealous of this guy. There's a huge competition going on. So I'm going to say yes, there were two groups that were either doing it knowingly or unknowingly, giving people specific powers and testing out how they would work with one another. In other words, okay, not saying that very well. Money, of course, is the culprit. It's always seems to be the culprit. Either the person who won this contest was going to get a lot of money, or they were using people to take money, or it just took a lot of money to put these experiments together. So say this guy had a group of people that he taught how to read minds somehow, okay? This guy had a group of people that he taught to move things with their minds. And they were in competition with each other, setting up things that these people would have to try and win. So I'm going to say experiments. And again, not knowing if the people who were a part of these experiments knew it or not. Okay, so here we have the net. It was very secret. What they were doing was very secret and pretty dangerous, actually. Well, so as we can see, it was a hidden program. Very expensive hidden program. The shop around the corner. And I left one behind. Shop around the corner. I really think that they were trying to make sure that there were people on every street corner, basically, that had these powers. It was going to be maybe something that you could buy access to. It could be something that you would take classes to learn. There could be a lot of different ways, but they had to test it out first to see how well it would actually go. We have You Can Do Magic, Volcano, and Jurassic Park. So yeah, I think they did their best. They had some people who were very good at what they were being taught. Now, where these guys learned it, or whoever was in charge of these groups, they maybe couldn't do these things either, but they had ideas as to how to teach other people how to do it. And I think they had good success, but it ended up being pretty dangerous. I mean, I think they really did get somebody in every shop around the corner, so to speak. And, were able to get product out there and stuff like that to teach other people how to do it once they realized that it was possible to do. Still competitive, obviously, but they did do it until it blew up in their faces. Then it became a thing of the past. Then it was extinct. And I don't believe, obviously we remember that there were dinosaurs, but is that true? So we don't even know if any of this is supposed to be known or hidden. They were pushing the limit here with pushing tin. But for some reason, probably money, it blew up in their face. So let's see what tarot offers for more information here. Okay, so we have the Three of Swords. Yeah, Three of Swords in a lot of ways, it means betrayal, deceit, things like that. But with the Three of Swords, for me, this is a growth of knowledge. So yes, they were actually teaching psychic powers of some sort to specific people, allowing their minds to grow. Then we have the Ten of Swords. Yeah, this is one of those where, they stabbed each other in the back. The money was a problem. Once the money ran out, or once money became the main focus, it was done. Then we have the Moon. Yeah, there were a lot of unseen things that they didn't realize at first how dangerous it could be. A lot of unseen things going on. Then we have the Nine of Strands, or the Nine of Wands, shop around the corner. Yeah, it got to be where everybody and his brother could light lights with their mind. It was easy to teach, apparently, and not just that, but other things, so that anybody could go anywhere and get information on how to become more psychic, how to move things with your mind, how to light lights with your mind, how to out-of-body travel, remote viewing. So many different things that you could do with your mind. And it became quite worrisome that it was so easy for people to learn. Then we have the Eight of Spokes, or Eight of Cups. There were a lot who could do it. And finally, and a lot of them seeing what was going on with people, because, a power is a power, and it has to be used responsibly, right? So, when anybody and his brother can do it, that can be pretty scary. It can really be pretty scary, and it isn't always used for good, right? So there were those who walked away on their own, chose not to learn it. And then with the Ace of Swords, as I said, it kind of blew up in their face, because everybody had their own idea of what they were supposed to do with this power. Once they had it, it was kind of unlimited potential, right? And then we have the Empress. And if you look at her, this is Joyce from Stranger Things. She's ready to do battle. Just bring it on, right? So Jurassic Park, not she, but they basically put a kibosh to their own creation and made it a thing of the past. Now, how? That's a good question, right? Sorry if I keep saying right. Don't know where that came from. Anyway, that's a good question, because once people have that power, I wouldn't think that it would be a shut-off switch, would it? Unless it maybe had something to do with frequency, or maybe maybe they had a way to erase memory or something like that. Because it does say in the question, forgotten truth, right? There it is again. Sorry. Okay, so let us pick this up and move on to question 3 and see if any of my questions are being answered in the questions coming up. Oops. No, it came out of that pile. We'll put it over here. All right, so question 3. Where are psychic abilities being explored, tested, or suppressed? So currently, are there places, people, institutions playing with the power behind the veil? In other words, behind the curtain, where we don't know. This mess that was created before, whenever that took place, are they starting it up again, despite the mess that it was? We have top of the world. Yeah, it looks like they're aligning the frequencies to do this again, if they're not already doing it. And we have Elvis. Somebody, and Elvis is thought of as a king, so somebody high up there is pretty excited or tickled to be able to do something with the frequencies, to be able to get people to be able to access certain parts of their mind. So yeah, I think that's a definite yes, that psychic abilities are being explored, tested, and to some degree suppressed. Of course, this shouldn't really surprise us, right? There's that right again. I'm catching myself. All right. Twister. They're putting a lot of power behind this. And only choosing certain people. Not sure what their criteria is, but only choosing certain people. Maybe ones that can easily align to the frequency, or they can tell easily align to the frequency. Now you see me. It looks like it's being done to people. This powerful frequency is being done to people, but they're being chosen randomly. It isn't like, oh, we're going to choose that person. It's like the frequency flows over a group of people walking down the street, for example. This frequency flows. It's a very powerful frequency. And whoever is doing this gets a glimpse. Whatever they're using, it can be seen. Now you see me. So something that these people do or don't do. Maybe there's some that don't actually respond to whatever this frequency is. So they're paying attention to the ones that do respond. Shop around the corner again. Yeah, they want to be able to market whatever this is. And I didn't have to do that again. E.T. and going my way. So yeah, they're testing this. They are testing this on people without their knowledge right now. At least that's the way it looks. Somebody high up is doing this, and it's a powerful frequency. Something that they are testing on just various people at various times. There is no specific, we're going to work on this group of people over and over and over again. As a twister, it's just random, just randomly doing it, because they want to bring back the abilities to everyone. And it very well could be that E.T. is involved, the way that it looks. And I don't think that they want anybody to just go their way. In other words, in one of the questions that we did, it talked about people choosing, I think it was question 2, people choosing not to do it, to walk away from the abilities that they were able to find or find anywhere. They didn't want to be a part of that. But I think this time, with the testing and secret testing, they don't want anybody to be able to walk away or go their own way. I think this guy probably will, whoever, or guys, group, whoever this king represents. So let's see what tarot has to add here. And we have the 10 of Swords again. The idea here is to get this frequency out there and align it with as many people as possible. Chances are it's going to be a very bad idea. And we have the 5 of Swords. Yeah, I don't think this guy really cares what's going to happen or what happens. He just wants to push it out there, push that frequency out there and see what happens. He doesn't care necessarily that something bad could happen to people's minds. He doesn't care. And then we have the 4 of Swords, which is another death card. So it is possible that this frequency, whatever it is, with as strong of a signal as they're putting out there, that it could actually make a person brain dead. It's coming on so powerfully. And the King of Scoops, or King of Pentacles, only certain people are going to be able to fight this frequency. Now, not knowing that it's there could be a problem, but there might be something in the body that instinctively just pushes away that frequency and does not react. The people who don't react, I don't think they want anything to do with, because they can't control those people. 2 of Scoops, or 2 of Pentacles. This is the bottom line. It's the gate they want to walk through. It's the gate they want to have control of is people, all people, or as many people as possible, to be controlled, I think, by that frequency, or to be able to control these people's minds with that frequency. It's kind of a game. 8 of Scoops or 8 of Pentacles. They're just gonna, I mean, they're working at it really hard. And yes, apparently in secret, but working at it really hard. And I think they're doing it with ET. They're doing it more and more, over and over. And again, we have Twister here. So it's at random locations, random places. It's not like we can pinpoint that. And then we have the 9 of Strands. Yeah, they're very worried about people being able to go their own way. The ones that are being affected, they're a little worried over the fact that these people might give away what they're doing. In other words, oh my gosh, you should have seen what I did today. I lit up a whole store. Well, they don't want to let people go their own way that way. So I don't know if that means that they're, once they find out, you know, what people react or who the people are that react, I don't know. Maybe they take them away somewhere. Maybe that's the testing location. So yeah, it's some kind of frequency that really hits, that's so powerful, like a twister, that it really hits the brain and can cause some major damage on some because they can't take the frequency. And then there's others that aren't affected by it at all. Those are the powerful ones. All right, so let us get these put away. And if you are enjoying this reading, please like and subscribe. Also share if you're so inclined, and do comment, because it is a lot of fun to see what you see in the cards. I very much enjoy reading comments like that. All right, so moving on to question 4. What dangers or disruptions follow the unlocking of the mind? So basically what happens when these special powers like telekinesis go unchecked or are misused? What dangers or disruptions follow the unlocking of the mind? The Forbidden Planet. We have Robbie the robot here, which could very well mean that because of the frequency that we were talking about in the last question, this could be definitely about being able to control our minds like we're robots. We've got Robbie the robot. Then we've got New Start. Yeah, there are those who think that this is a really good idea and it's a whole new way to start taking over the planet. Whole new start. They make it look good. So I think, you know, if they take people back to their testing facility, I think they make it look good. Like they're doing it for the good of humanity kind of thing. Make it look green and growing and wonderful. And then we've got Ghostbusters, who are here to save the world. Yeah, I don't think everybody's buying it. I really don't think everybody's buying it. But this is also obviously a card of ghosts. We had in this position the 4 of Swords, and also the Twister card, which is also a sign of a thing of death. All of them can cause death. So it is perhaps one of those situations where they're looking at it, whoever the king, Elvis, was in this whole plan, they're looking at it as there's casualties of war. Big deal, right? There's that right again. Sorry. Okay. Flatliners. Very spooky show, by the way. Yeah, I don't think the testing, once they figure out that the people react to the frequency and they have ways to control what it is that they're doing, maybe they try them with growing plants or many new different things. Some of them don't make it, some of them do. The ones that do are being tested upon in many different ways. Release. The devil went down to Georgia. And rain of fire. I think death is the only way to get released from whatever they're doing, this forbidden location, this forbidden place. I think death is the only way. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you die permanently, because flatliners, they die and they come back to life. But maybe that is what makes it so that you can't be affected by that frequency anymore. This is just a guess. So I think then, being released, they can't work with you anymore because they can't do anything. You've released their ability to be able to do anything to you. In this case, you are victorious, and they might actually be testing that too. And they are finding out that it is definitely something that's going on. The devil went down to Georgia with the forbidden planet. These are also obviously bad guys, ones that don't really care about life. Really don't care about life at all. They just want to play with life. But it's going to backfire on them. Their world, their whole game here is going to be taken down. And I don't think it's by something that I don't think it's by something that they expect. Rain of Fire is about dragons burning up the world. Most people think dragons are myth, so maybe there's something they think that's myth that is going to burn their world down. So let's see what Tarot has to add. We have the Three of Spokes, or Three of Cups. Yeah, there's more than one group involved in doing this. More than one person. We have the Devil with New Start. Yeah, they tell people that it's good. We're doing this for the good of humanity. In fact, not at all. Ace of Strands or Ace of Wands. That's the potential of energy that is being put into what they're doing here. It is the potential to, work with ghosts, take the soul. I mean, this could go so much further than just unlocking the mind. Maybe they're trying to get access to things that, they aren't even supposed to have, such as the soul. So with the Six of Spokes or Six of Cups. These are memories. Happy memories. Memories that make you feel good about self. So maybe they are trying to send people back. I mean, that could be one of the things. Send people back in their mind to see if they can get to the happy moment. But not everybody can survive whatever process that they're doing with this. Then we've got the 6 of Dice or 6 of Swords. Yeah, they want us, we need to release and get to this peace of mind spot. The 6 of Swords is peace of mind card for me. But in this case, they're saying here there be monsters. If you close off your own mind, release everything that they are doing, just try to put it out of your mind, what they're pushing, what they're doing, how they're doing it. Maybe, in fact, you can reach that peace of mind stage and they can't do it to you anymore. Wheel of Fortune with the Devil went down to Georgia. Yeah, I think they're trying to change as many people as they possibly can. And I don't know if you can see those faces in this ego. But they're trying to change as many people as they can. Try to test on as many people as they can. Trying to bring as many people on board as possible. Both in the testing and in putting the money in for more testing. People who have no qualms about doing things to other people that aren't exactly kosher. And then the Ace of Swords. There's a lot of ways that this whole thing can be destroyed. Whoever is considering the destruction, and this could go back to our spirit guides and those who have been trying to reach us with messages, signs, maybe as a warning to what's going on here. It's going to be burned down. The whole process is going to be just, it's going to, like with volcano, explode. Go up in their face. Same with Rain of Fire. So let's get these picked up also and go on to question 5. There are 6 questions in total. And as always, this reading has not taken the turn I thought it was going to. I thought we were going to be discussing, literally discussing different kinds of psychic abilities and things like that. But, I mean, it does what it does. The cards go where they go. And I give what they offer. Oh. I was looking at the writing on there, thinking it was something extra, but it's actually the actors and actresses in it. All right, so question 5. Are these abilities awakening in the collective right now? So is something shifting in consciousness that's making this possible again? So we already know that a frequency, a really strong frequency has been being put out there. The people that are reacting to it are either taken someplace else or they continue to be tested on. So we have the 6th sense. Night at the museum. All right, so the sixth sense I'm going to say is yes, one of the psychic abilities is being able to see beyond the veil, being able to see past loved ones, being able to see animals that have passed, communicate perhaps with deceased. I'm also going to say with Night at the Museum, there are those who also are being able to move things with their mind, the telekinesis. Maybe some of them are even somehow capable of bringing things back to life. New start. Yeah, that's what we had flatliners, so yeah, I'm thinking that maybe there are those who are able to bring, communicate with certain ones, and perhaps they're saying, hey, would you like to be brought back to life in this time period? And telling them that yes, it's possible, and giving them that new start if that's what they want. And how much money can they pay? Or do they want a new start back in our world? Doesn't have to be pretty difficult for somebody who has passed to pay any money. So I'm going to say just a new start in our physical world. Now, this is also with the question of, are these abilities awakening in the collective right now? Something shifting in consciousness. And again, I'm going to say yes to people being able to talk to others. Yes to being able to bring maybe inanimate objects back to life. Or inanimate objects, making inanimate objects move, talk, basically come alive. New growth, being able to make things grow more quickly. Making money appear. The other's part of the story too, but going with the question, we have abilities happening here. Aaron Brockovich. 1. And people gotta be free. So there are definitely people out there that know something's amiss. That a lot of these things that are happening they're not happening naturally, per se. That they are being done to these people by like a large company. Somehow in the process, they are stripping these people of everything they are. Simply because, think about it. If you're out there in the world and you're normal, right? All of a sudden you're able to talk to deceased people and you never could before. You're going to tell your best friend. Your best friend is going to be so freaked out, they're going to tell somebody else. So word can get out. If you're able to bring inanimate objects to life, word's going to get out. If you're able to grow plants at like a major rate, word's going to get out. If you can make money appear out of nowhere, people are going to notice that one, right? So it kind of alienates. It's going to alienate people. for sure. Even if this would happen naturally, it's going to alienate people. And some of it can obviously be happening naturally. This doesn't only have to be the company, but with Erin Brockovich here, I think there's still something to the other questions and what's happening with that strong frequency. And I think the people got to be free is self-explanatory. This isn't something that we want pushed upon us or should have pushed upon us. It should be something that develops on its own naturally without any living human pushing it secretly upon us. So let's see what Tarot has to add. And by the way, these are pretty cool psychic abilities. All right, so Queen of Dice or Queen of Swords. Well, the one thing that the people are going to find from past loved ones who have, or people who have passed away, they're going to get an earful of the truth. No doubt about it. And because these people know and they care about what's happening to the human race. So yeah, anybody who is able to communicate beyond the veil is going to get an earful of truth. The Lovers, and this is a card of choice. So whether or not a person chooses to bring an inanimate object back to life, or even bring a deceased person back to life, it is a choice. They have to understand what that choice actually is going to do and be. Then Wheel of Fortune for New Start. Again, here we are. Do we want to change? Do we want to be able to change the way things are going right now? Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. I mean, if we try to start, if we take a plant or a seed and we are suddenly able to grow it into a full plant, that might be a wonderful thing for, what do I want to say, humanity and those who might be starving to death. But it might not be so good for the farmers who make their living in that way, growing food. And so, yeah, it's something to be weighed for sure. And then the 10 of Spokes or 10 of Cups. Somebody who can bring money out of nowhere. You would think that that would be an absolute happy life, right? You could have everything that you wanted. The only problem is a lot of times that's just an illusion. It's something that you tell yourself is a good thing, and it ends up being just an illusion. The Star. I think this is telling us to remember where we came from. That we don't have to allow some company, some group of people to control everything that we do. We need to remember where we came from. We have that power. We can be Erin Brockovich. Four of Spokes or four of Cups. Again, that's, we're alone. There are some people, because of what has happened here, that are going to be alone. They're disconnected from their hearts. They've turned away from everything that matters, turned away from their stability, turned away from structure because they feel very alone. Those who cannot do these things don't understand. And then we have the Eight of Spokes or Eight of Cups. Yeah, this is the walk away card. Been there, done that. Don't want to be controlled anymore. So yeah, the abilities, I think, for some, the abilities are awakening naturally. Because, I mean, we're working with frequency. We're working on ascending and with the times. But there are also those who are being attacked by that frequency and are being used as test subjects, which is not necessarily a happy thing. So the whole point here is we need to be able to fight back and help those people who are kind of stuck. And for those of us who the ascension starts bringing powerful things, it's maybe a good idea to keep it to ourselves for a while until somehow we know that more than the majority have the abilities again. All right, so we are on question 6 here, the last question. And it is, what should we watch for if psychic abilities are becoming real? So we're back to the signs and the symptoms and events that might show us truth. And at the start, we saw that one of the forces behind that's tapping into the human mind was our spirit guides, trying to share with us certain signs. They need to give messages, need to help us understand certain things. So some of those signs may definitely be from them. So bringing up baby. And I think this is also saying the children that are coming into the world, the babies that are coming into the world, it is because of the timing, because of the age of Aquarius. They're going to have some of these psychic abilities naturally, much more so than any before them. Running on empty. This is saying that, well, again, going back to the spirit guides, there are signs that they need, signs and messages and so forth that they need to get us. They need us to slow down and notice the signs. And it really says it right here. Slow down. Notice the signs. Trust the path and purpose awaits. So they need us to slow down so that we can notice whether it be signs of psychic ability or signs that there's a message coming to us. We need to be able to hear it, see it. Practical magic. Yeah, once with the movie Practical Magic, once they stopped running from their destiny, I guess you could say, things worked out very well. So there is going to come a time, it looks like, when our guides are going to let us know when it's okay to share whatever psychic abilities that we have. Whatever psychic abilities seem to be coming, as in question 5, some may already be able to do some of those things when they couldn't at first, but now they can. So I think the guides are going to say, well, you'll know when to come out. We'll let you know when it's safe. Hidalgo. Keep doing the unusual. Keep doing whatever it is that you're noticing in yourself. Keep practicing. Stay persistent with it. They're saying that too. Stay persistent with it. 7 days leave. Don't forget to rest. meditate, but remain invisible. In other words, don't let other people see what you're doing as yet. Even if you want to practice some of these things, try practicing on your own, trying to move objects. Take a ring off and see, if you can move the ring. Keep practicing and keep practicing. But when you're able, just remain invisible with it for a while. Wait until your guides come out and say it is safe to come out. So let's see what Tarot has to share here. Two of Spokes or Two of Cups. Yeah, I think this is a connection in these babies, the babies that are being born now. They are much more connected to themselves, to their higher self, much more connected than any before. The Sun. When we slow down, we will notice the signs and things will be clear. It's almost as though when we slow down, since our guides do not give neon signs, when we slow down and we pay attention, they are almost like neon signs, these signs we get. It's like the sun suddenly shining on something specific. Six of Swords or Six of Dice. Once we can come out, that really is peace of mind. It doesn't matter. People aren't going to think we're monsters at that point. It's going to be normal and natural. We just have to be patient and wait for that. Because it's a whole new adventure. Go ahead and keep working at it. And be persistent about it. Just don't talk about it. Don't forget to rest. And with the Three of Scoops or Three of Pentacles, that's going to be where you're tempted to work with other people. But it's saying probably not a good idea. Go on vacation to avoid working with other people. Just close yourself away if you need to avoid that. And then we have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, the meditation is going to show where our strengths and weaknesses are. It's going to also show that we're not victims of anything, that we have total control of our minds if that's what we truly believe. And then Knight of Dice or Knight of Swords. Be active. Go ahead and use the energy, whatever it is that you are capable of doing. Moving an object with your mind, bringing something back to life, whatever some of the other ones were. Be active with it, but not in front of anybody. Be the invisible man or woman. So what should we watch for if psychic abilities are becoming real? The signs. To let us know when it's okay to come out with it. Otherwise, stay invisible. Spend time meditating. Getting to know yourself. Appreciating the adventure you're on. But don't be doing it with others. Not yet. All right, so that is it for this reading. Teaser for next week. If the mind can bend reality, what else might be slipping through the cracks? Next time, we explore the strange entities, demogorgons, and more that may be watching from the other side. Are we truly alone or just unaware of what lurks beyond human senses? So that is the teaser for episode 4 for next week of Stranger Things Inspired series. The schedule for the shows is on the screen right now. As you can see, I do 3 shows each week, each one different. And with that said, I'd like to say thank you so much for being a part of this reading with me. I hope you've made it to the end. And until next week, have a great one. Take care.